What's up, guys? It's your boy Bernie here, along with my special guest Adam. I've been trying to get this man on for so many weeks now, but he's finally here in the cut. How you doing, Adam?
Good. I'm finally here.
Alrighty, guys. So if you guys don't know Adam, formerly coached him. Only coached him for about, I believe, maybe just last year, like officially as like an assistant. So Adam here obviously played for the. I'm not sure if should we say the team or do you want to keep that hush hush or how do you want to do it?
Doesn't matter.
Alrighty, played for Mercer Island High School basketball here, on the island for many years. So we're just going to ask him a couple questions, kind of talk, maybe some Laker talk, seeing how he thinks about them. Season starts in a couple days, I believe 2 days from the time of this recording. So, Adam, why don't you start off with kind of like your backstory, like what, who you are, what you do now?
Well, I was originally born in Seattle. So I started playing basketball over there, started at Rotary, and then went to ECBA. And then before middle school, I moved to Mercer Island and then started in that program. And then now I'm at Dominican University in California playing D2 basketball. So,
all right.
Yeah.
That's cool. I only know Adam for maybe a couple years. So maybe tell me what it was like kind of going through that process of, going from, just a little kid with the dream of one day playing basketball in college to like making it a reality. Like how did that I should say trajectory, or how did that growth work for you? Or like what was the secret?
Just a lot of hard work, honestly. Like, cause if you have a dream, you have to go for it. You can't like half step it and all that stuff. So you really have to put your mind to it and just go for it, because if you take days off, then people around you also want to go to college. So they're getting the work in while you're taking a day off. So it was just a lot of hard work, a lot of hours in the gym, and just dedication. That's what got me there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I saw, kind of coaching him, but also kind of looking at it from the background, because there's times, obviously, when you coach, you can't coach them. So, it's just seeing that kind of hard work and dedication, you could see it from a mile away with Adam. So, that's something I really appreciate, and that's something that he's brought on to the kids that we're now coaching here at Mercer Island. But Adam, more specifically, I know that I believe what year was it? Was it freshman to sophomore, or was it sophomore to? Yeah, I think it was freshman to sophomore, right? Kind of that like huge growth spurt that you had. Went from like what 5'11" to like 6'4". Is that what happened?
Yeah, I grew like almost half a foot, but it was painful.
Is it painful? I mean, like, as someone who's on the shorter side, I don't think I've ever experienced something like that. So like how crazy is it going from like, a smaller height to automatically like in maybe a year almost like getting to that tall 6'4"?
Well, as I said, it's definitely painful. It's hard on your knees, especially being like an athlete. So you're always using the knees, and then especially playing basketball because you're jumping so much. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it was just weird because like I didn't really notice it until like a lot of people started telling me, oh, you look taller. Because obviously like I knew I was getting taller, but like you don't really notice it until like everybody's telling you. And then you kind of look in the mirror, look at old pictures, and then you kind of like see. But yeah, it was a lot of like hard work too, because I had tendonitis from it. So I had to go do PT like many times during the week, have to miss a couple practices for it. So it was just a lot, but I'm glad I'm this height. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would take some of those inches too, man. I
Yeah.
need it. But I think that's a very interesting point. I mean, like I know a lot of players, that are growing up kind of do experience the same thing you do, right? Like one day they're like, maybe 5'7", 5'8", and then all of a sudden you just see a growth spurt, like you just shoot up in like just a year. So it is kind of crazy to kind of see that happen. But maybe let's talk more, kind of how was the role of your high school career? Like how, what did you make of high school?
I thought it was a great place for me, especially at Mercer Island, to prepare me for the next level, just because Mercer Island's very like traditional, and it's not very like in the metro schools, you don't have a lot of like structure in your offense and that type of stuff. So I felt like Mercer Island helped me just, getting the basics down, getting the fundamentals down. And that's like a huge thing in college, because everybody thinks college is about like the athletes and like the freak freak of nature players that make it there. But I mean, in my practices, and I just noticed it throughout like college, it's a lot about like the little things and fundamentals. So Mercer Island is big on that. So that really helped me.
Yeah, I mean, working a couple of those camps with the head coach, you understand kind of the fundamentals are like his big thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what he learned from his coach, who unfortunately passed away. But Ed Pebble kind of brought that to Gavin, and then Coach Cree kind of did the same thing for you guys, kind of growing up. Obviously, I think he's been there 15 years. I think I won't say 15, maybe longer. But yeah, I mean, I know that. That college route, like I said, I only know Adam for about 2 years, but still probably one of the better 2 years for him in terms of growth and trajectory. I mean, maybe talk about kind of the recruiting process too, Adam. I mean, you were, obviously once you grow to a certain height, I know certain colleges are looking at you. I know certain teams are looking at you. Like how was the college recruiting process, and what age did you feel it, or what year did you start?
So I probably started like the summer of my junior year. So like just going to AU tournaments around like the West Coast, and then getting like little highlight reels together, sending them to coaches, putting emails together, sending them to coaches. This was my summer before going into junior year. So yeah, just getting those little things together for the coaches just to get your name out there. Because obviously, like, you're not going to get offered that soon, but you just want your name out there so people start talking about you, start noticing you. And then also going to, I went to a lot of like camps, just like select camps, where coaches can watch you firsthand. And then going into my senior year, that's when things started to ramp up a lot. I was talking to like a few D2 schools, and then I was trying to get attention from a couple of D1s, but it never really went through. But yeah, so the D2 schools were watching me at like tournaments in California, and then a couple of them offered me, and I just had to make the decision, and went with Dominican. So.
Next question I had too is just kind of like, comparing. I know that you also played AAU basketball as well as high school basketball, and in your opinion, I kind of see a lot more AAU highlights than more high school highlights. So I kind of watching Ball is Life and all this other stuff. What the kids watch today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound like an old head here, but what do you think is more important to a kid, is to like get on an AAU team and to kind of like venture out that way, or do you think it's good to be in high school and focus more on that? Like what do you think is the better way to do it?
Well, I think both are great, but for like different reasons. I think high school is just like, you're not gonna play with all your friends from school on the AAU team. I mean, that's rare. So high school is great for that experience and everything. And then also, like, in my experience, I got more of the fundamentals from high school, which were very important later in my career. And then for AAU, I think like historically it was better for like getting coaches to see you, but like now I think the rules, coaches can see you at high school games. So, but AAU is just like more just up-tempo freestyle basketball, which is good for you just to learn how to like play different situations, more like frantic situations. But yeah, I think they're both great.
Yeah, and I guess for you, kind of what was your favorite? I mean, did you have a preference, or were you kind of just like in the middle about it?
Yeah, I was kind of in the middle, just because like high school, you can't get what like, or AAU can't like beat out high school for what high school provides, like playing in front of all your peers at school and the band being there. AAU can't provide that. But then, I mean, you don't travel to California during the summer for like high school, and you don't go to Vegas and that stuff for high school. So that's what AAU kind of beats out high school. So I think it's just like whatever you prefer. I mean, but I liked both.
Okay. And I guess the next question will kind of go on to like the crowd and all that stuff. I know that, what's been the biggest crowd that you've played in, and how do you play in those type of games? Do you get nervous, or are you anxious? Like how is that feeling of playing in front of a big crowd?
I think the biggest crowd was senior night this past year. That was crazy because like the full student section was filled out. Um, but yeah, I think everybody gets a little nervous. I definitely get nervous just because there's so many people, it can get overwhelming. And then there's obviously with all the people there, a lot of distractions. So you really have to focus in and just try to play through all those distractions because I mean, it's a lot going on with the band. And then you got people with signs like the ESPN. Shout out the ESPN booth for senior night. That was dope. All in the suits. But yeah, all the distractions are hard to cut out. But if you do cut them out, then it's super fun. Just playing in front of all those people once you like get the jitters out and everything. Nothing can beat it.
Yeah, I bet. Never had that experience in my life, but I'm sure that for the kids that do, it's really awesome and a little envious sometimes. But it is what it is at this point. But I kind of want to take it back even a little bit more. Let's go back to like your first start of varsity basketball, or just kind of like in those big tournaments. Even like, how was that experience? Just like going from like I think you played JV right freshman year, and then sophomore, that's when you went to varsity.
Yeah.
So how was that experience? I know that's probably a little bit frightening sometimes.
Yeah, I was nervous definitely because I was just a sophomore on the team and I was just on JV, just got moved up. So it was a new experience for me. But I remember, I think I got the start, unfortunately, after Ethan got injured.
What was that game?
Arizona. So I think that's when I started like getting more minutes and getting in better rotation. But yeah, it was just a big step up for me because playing as a bench player is a much different role than being a starter. You have a lot more responsibility as a starter. So yeah, I just took what Gavin told me to do and tried to do it to my best and played my role.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of saw that from kind of far out. I wasn't really with. I think I maybe coached with the varsity team like maybe a little bit, but wasn't too much. But just kind of seeing that Gav and the rest of the coaching staff kind of talking about like, yeah, Adam's gonna get the start. I'm like, dang, okay, let's see what he's got. Sophomore, finally get that grew a little bit more.
Yeah.
Known as a defensive stopper too. That's kind of what I've heard. Those were the rumors that I was hearing from the coaching staff. It was like, so it was kind of cool to see that that projection from like where you started from varsity and how you finished up with the senior year. Have you, I guess with basketball, you have your ups, you have your downs. So how do you deal with like the moments and the games where like it doesn't go your way, or you don't really make much of an impact, like or even just some more like those crushing losses? Like how do you deal with those type of moments?
Well, I'm really hard on myself during the game, so I tend to get down on myself, but I just like, you got to rely on like your confidence in your work that you put in. So you just gotta believe in the work that you put in, and that like you're better than the mistakes you're making or whatever's going on. And you just gotta make the next play mentality. You just gotta move on. Can't let it hold you down throughout a whole game. And then also your teammates are there for you, lifting you up all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely huge to have your teammates. Definitely they have your back. I mean, we kind of started doing this like neutral mindset type of stuff, and that's kind of as corny and cheesy as it is sometimes, it does help in terms of making sure that you're on that next play mentality, which a lot of the top athletes do have. So let's kind of fast forward it now. You're in college. You're already done a semester, I believe, right?
Yeah.
All righty. How was the college experience so far for an athlete? Do you feel like it's a lot different?
Yeah, it definitely is. First off, just being by yourself in college, like without parents, that's the biggest change. But after a while, you get used to it, and it's kind of fun just being on your own. But it's definitely different than high school because you're waking up at 6:20 to go to practice, and then sometimes you have a lift before the practice. So it's definitely like a lot more. But yeah, and then also the speed of the game in college is just so much faster. That was like one of the biggest things for me. And then also just everybody's so much stronger in college. That was also a big thing for me because I'm kind of just like lanky, so I'm not that big, and everybody else is like bulked up because I have a lot of seniors on my team too, so everybody's a lot older than me. But Yeah, I'd say like strength and the speed of the game is like for the basketball side is the biggest adjustment.
Did you have like a practice or like a scrimmage where like you were playing in a game and it just woke you up because of how fast it was and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. It was probably like my first couple practices when we started with like just a warm up, like drill, like what is it called, the mic-ins,
Yeah.
and then we'd go to like 3-on-3 full court, and then right after that we get like 30 seconds for water break. Then we'd have to like run, losers run, and then we're right back into 3-on-3 full court, and then 2v2. It's just like super sped up. So yeah, just trying to keep up with that, and then you got to be in condition too. So yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, that's kind of something that I noticed in the college basketball, kind of in the scenes, at least myself at the University of Utah, and now kind of hearing it from you at Dominican, that's kind of what's going to be important for a lot of these kids that are going to be going into, those D2, even D1 or any type of basketball, whether it's D3 or community college. So what do you say to those kids that kind of want to do the same thing that you did, was to kind of like, become a college athlete? Like what advice would you give them if you could give them one thing?
Well, I'd say you gotta first like make sure your grades are good, because coaches will like look at you can be like worse than a player, but if you have the better grades and he's like failing 3 classes or something, they're gonna take you, even if like. So yeah, you just gotta focus on your grades, and then just stay in the gym, stay away from distractions, and just really focus on your craft, because if you miss days, like I said earlier, other people are getting ahead of you.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's kind of the work ethic that I saw even from a sophomore year from you, just kind of my first year there. So, definitely a lot of things, words of wisdom from Adam here is just that, you got to make sure that the grades are up, man. Like that's the biggest thing for me, even as just, somewhat of a teacher at the school. So grades are definitely important. But let's kind of talk a little bit of NBA. I know that's kind of more your bread. I know that you love that stuff just as much as I do. You're a hoop junkie like me. See that you got the LeBron poster in the background, old school.
You already know.
He's got so many Cavs stuff. So I mean, I don't think it's a secret that you're a LeBron James fan, and you think that he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So what is your opinion on this year's NBA? Like, do you think that any team has a chance to dethrone the Lakers, or do you think it's Lakers with another championship?
I think it's Lakers with another championship, but I think like the team with the best chance, honestly, well, I'm gonna have to see like how they are in the regular season, but I think the Nets, just because KD and Kyrie are just a tough duo, and then their bench too. I mean, Karis LeVert, he's dropped like 50 in a few games this past season. Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, they got a nice roster, but yeah, I think the Nets have the best chance, but it won't happen. I'm not worried.
No, you think?
I'm not worried.
Yeah, I mean, like, what about the Lakers team that you like so much? Like, what players did they add that you're like, this is going to be a championship winning like roster?
Oh, once I saw they added what's his name, Dennis Schroeder, I already knew, and then they added Montrez. Then I already knew times 2. So like, yeah, but I don't know. I just felt like last year their bench was not so good. So whenever LeBron or AD was out, the other team could make a run. But I think this season, since they got like 2 6-man of the year candidates on their bench, they're gonna be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, even adding like a guy like Marc Gasol was just
I was gonna mention him too. Yeah,
like just ridiculous with the passing, kind of spacing out the floor even more.
Yeah,
especially with that second unit, especially with Kuzma, who is very hit or miss. Definitely can help him tremendously. And then just kind of going for rookies. I mean, is there any rookie right now that's standing out to you in the preseason?
I'll be LaMelo, to be honest.
You liking LaMelo's game?
Yeah, I haven't seen much of Anthony Edwards though, but I like LaMelo. He's tough. Just his passing and his IQ is just so natural to him. It's crazy.
I don't know if you watched the pass from, I think it was last night's game, where he basically, I don't know how physics even worked on
like
it.
underhand?
The underhand pass.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I don't even know how he got that. I don't even know how he got it so accurate enough to where like it just bounces right to the guy and he just finishes. Like,
yeah, exactly. I think if he gets his 3-point jumper, like, higher percentage and everything, it's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, I think he's probably gonna be the best ball brother of them all, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
Just because I think Lonzo, just finishing wise, isn't quite there yet. But I think LaMelo, with his length and his size, even though, well, I think LaMelo's a little bit bigger, but it's a different. He's just built different.
He's like a 6'9" point guard. It's crazy.
I know. Well, I guess that's gonna do it here for the interview. I mean, Adam, do you have anything final to say? Whether it's kind of talking about your career or the NBA, like what would you like to say as kind of the final word?
I mean, obviously, right now is a hard time for everybody, so just try to focus on bettering yourself, whether that be like, I don't know, meditation or something, or going to the gym or something like that. So just focus on yourself, and don't let this time like get the best of you, I guess.
Alrighty, guys, that's going to do it here for our interview. Again, thank you once again to Adam for joining me here on The Charge. Of course, this is just going to be part of our little series that we do where we interview former athletes, people that are in the sporting field, and just kind of getting their opinions and kind of checking up on them. So, Adam, appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, guys. If you guys are new, please remember to hit that subscribe button. Also, remember to hit that like button if you're new. The more subscribers we have, the more viewers that we get.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. You're the man. All righty, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.
All right, bro.